I walked out in the street, even though I had, family, I had a lot of support from my family. It was just a whole different world. So when I went to jail, I was 17, I hadn't even experienced life. I hadn't experienced, being in a real relationship, having my own place, holding down a job, a bank account, none of that. So, I walked back out into this world and I'm 27 years old and I'm behind, and I felt all this pressure to get a home, to get a relationship, to get a job. And so I found myself on a fast track, striving to catch up for all these years. And it ended up overwhelming me. I did good for probably about a year. I got a nice 2-story house. I had boats and four-wheelers. I was doing real well, but slowly but surely I started hanging around the wrong people that I was friends with from prison. And I trusted them a lot, looked up to them. Well, it so happened they were doing drugs. And so they offered me drugs and, man, a line of coke. And from that point on, I still remember it. From the first time I'd done it, that slowly but surely I started falling into drugs. And everything I had worked for and built, I started losing it. Little by little, I started straying from God. And it got so bad that, I was doing drugs every day. I've been out going on 8 years now. I've overdosed and almost died. I went back to the county on a violation called another felony. By the grace of God, the charge was thrown out. My parole was reinstated. Just in the last year, I made one of the best decisions I could ever make, and that was going to the Manna house to get help from my addiction. And that was in November of last year, and here it is November, a year later, and I've been completely sober. We got an album coming out, an EP. I've built some great relationships with friends. I've just seen, my life start coming together. I found, my purpose. I'm happy now. I'm not, running around trying to find the next high to try to make myself happy. It just feels good to be sober, and be doing what I love, and that's music. I might not be the best artist, but you know what? This is what God called me to do. This is what he told me to do. And he said, I gave each man talents, and we're responsible for what we do with them talents. And so I want to use them to glorify him. And so here it is a year later, I'm sober. That's what it is. That's my testimony. That's what I've been through. That's just bits and pieces. If I went into detail on it, it would take forever, but that's it.
I just wanna follow, cause only God